Hey everybody, Justin Barber, the Mindful Barbarian here. This morning, I'm thinking about evidence and looking for evidence. I have attempted to be mindful this week with this election and not just troll people online. Now I have trolled a lot of Trump supporters and kind of poor sport Trump winners, and I'll say this, I think if Trump was your candidate and he appears to have lost, I'm trying to be objective here, I'm going to say he appears to have lost. It's obvious that he has lost. There's the potential for voter fraud. Right? So, still, it appears that he's lost. Well, of course, we're all seeing everybody online freaking out about it, talking about how there is potentially fraud. So, also, we're seeing people that are sad, they're upset, they don't want to believe that their guy lost, whatever. So I have trolled some of those. If you're being a jerk, I've made some pretty funny memes, and I've shared some pretty funny memes. And check them out. So, because the thing is, if you're being a jerk, I'm going to throw that at you. If you're not being a jerk, and your candidate lost, I'm not going to throw that at you. Because it doesn't apply to you if you're not being a poor sport. When if you follow politics, if you're very old at all, you've had a few elections, under your belt, and you've seen sometimes your candidate loses, sometimes your candidate wins. Sometimes you don't even have a candidate that you like who's in the running, and that keeps happening to me over and over again. It's happened to me quite a few times, over time. So I've learned a lot of things about that. But this morning, with this video, let's take a quick look at evidence. So, what's the evidence for voter fraud? Thus far, I haven't seen any. I've looked. Like fraud, where they're trying to sway the election. So, Trump's making all these claims. His campaign's making these claims. Rudy Giuliani, Trump kids, all that. I haven't seen anything of any kind of legitimate news source of any kind whatsoever, or any information that the courts have accepted, that anything is accepted whatsoever. Now, do I have confirmation bias? Do I have bias? Yes, I have bias. I'm aware that I'm biased. I'm aware that I want Donald Trump to lose. And therefore, I attempt to be objective when I approach it. And I come to this situation and I say, okay, is there fraud? So I look up some fraud stuff. Do a little look. I wait, see what comes up in the news, right? Well, as we all know, propaganda machine is rolling, and all these people who are biased toward Donald Trump and want him to win do not want to believe it. Now, many people do. I know a number of people who are being reasonable and looking at how many votes Biden won by, appears to have won by. And, they get it and it's not an issue. Well, here's where I fall into the pitfall. I thought, well, okay, I'm going to crack my camera out before I've even gotten cleaned up today. I threw my contacts in. I'm not putting my glasses on these videos. I'm wearing my glasses while I'm sitting here editing a video I'm going to upload here this morning. And so I decided, screw it. I'm not even going to comb my hair again. That'll be my new shtick. I never let anybody see me without my hair combed, but look at this. There's my hair in the morning. It's not slicked back. It's not hard. It's puffy and pretty gray. Anyway, that's why I have to put crap in it, right? There's my one aside for this video. I have to put stuff. I got to put gel in my hair because my hair is powerful and it does not want to stay put. It wants to get puffy and stick up and look stupid. So anyway, back to evidence. This is part of being skeptical. I just don't get why people don't do it. I mean, I do, because it's much more comfortable and much more fun to have your biases met, to confirm your bias, confirmation bias. So they're biased. They want Trump to win. So they just assume, nope, there's no way. He declares that, for 2 months before the election, he's been saying how, hey, the only way I can lose to Sleepy Joe is if they cheat. That's the only way, because he knew he would set the stage. This is apparent to anyone who's being pretty objective about it, that yes, he was attempting to set the stage for if he lost, he was attempting to set the stage to say, hey, if I don't win, it's only from cheating. But if I win, it's because there was no cheating. Okay, people believe this stuff. They just believe it. So, regarding politics, if you are in that kind of camp, take a step back, take a look at it. If you don't support Trump, you want there to be no voter fraud. You want Biden to legitimately win. I do. I don't want there to be fraud. But I'll tell you what, if there is fraud and I see evidence of it, and it comes up and it hits the courts and, legitimate news sources, not he said, she said, not some tiny look here and there into elements of it. In those things, will I believe there's voter fraud if we are provided with sufficient evidence to show or to demonstrate that there was voter fraud? Absolutely, I'll believe that. Be an idiot not to. But I'm not going to believe a damn thing until I see some evidence, or until credible sources pull up some evidence to deal with it. If the courts deal with evidence and they show that, yes, this happened, this happened, this happened, yeah, that's sufficient. In this case, there isn't any evidence yet. So, this morning I exercised a little bit of self-control, and I've been last night and this morning, I started chatting with people on Facebook that I don't know in the comments section on the local CBS site page, really. So I'll tell you what, I'm just asking them to provide evidence. Provide evidence. Give me some evidence. That's all I want. That's all I'm asking for. If you guys are seeing this, and you guys are so smart, and we're all a bunch of idiots, and anybody who doesn't accept it is looking at the wrong news sources, give me some evidence. That's all I want. Just give me some evidence. So I was Mr. Nice Guy. I didn't share any nasty memes. I mean, I typically don't do that on KPAX anyway, because I've learned the hard way. It's like getting into Twitter and battling Trump trolls or Trump cultists on there. It's not worth it. It's fun to a point, but it's not worth it. It's mentally taxing too. But anyway, I get on there and I start asking some people, various people in a couple different threads on this thing, about, hey, where's the evidence? Share the evidence. I want to see it. And I said a lot of what I'm telling you right now. I'm saying, hey, we're all biased. If you have this evidence and you know the truth, let's hear it. Do you know what kind of replies I've gotten? Pretty much, I mean, generally actually polite, because I was polite that time. I'm not always. I was polite that time, or these times. And I've gotten them telling me that I don't want to find the truth. I don't want to see the truth. I should check out legitimate news sites. I should look for myself, that it's an obligation for me to look. And I'm sitting here kind of laughing to myself, thinking, you know what? More than most people, I sit around thinking about this stuff. I'm making goddamn YouTube videos telling people they should do that. Do you know why? Because I fucking do it myself. I don't screw around. Like, I do, well, okay, I screw around a lot, but I do that. Find evidence. I want to see the evidence. Let's see it. Let's see it. I am a skeptic. Also, why would you just have blind allegiance to some politician? There's some good politicians out there, but not very many, and politicians have many motivations and reasons to cheat and lie. They all do. Why would you just believe what they say, especially when they're asserting something that has no evidence whatsoever and only demonstrates that it serves their ends? In this case, who does it help? Trump, that's it. It helps Trump. Hey, they're stealing the election. They're ruining our country. All this propaganda stuff. Cut through the propaganda and find the evidence. Where's the evidence? I've got a friend we had throughout the course of this week. He did a bunch of looking. Hopefully he's going to watch this video and he's going to see. I'm going to share it with him, so hopefully he does. I've got a friend who was researching a bunch on the, the day after election, I think, that he was looking into the dead people that have been registered to vote in Michigan. So I looked into some of that because he and I were discussing it. And he was looking to see if there was fraud, or specifically, very specifically, were dead people registered to vote. I think we can all agree that dead people should not be registered to vote. For me, it comes down to the next step is, even if they're registered and that's a fault of the system, that's not voter fraud if the checks and balances are in place and they work and they examine it. There's a reason these votes take so long. Mail-in votes, they check it out, they vet them. Did you die before you cast this vote? Did someone else cast this vote in your name? If you did, they cut it and they don't accept it. Now, that's why I've seen that in multiple news sources. PolitiFact said it, the elections, whatever, the election person in charge down there said the same thing. That was sufficient for me because it's also, it could be something fraudulent. Maybe someone is sending in someone else's votes. That could certainly happen, and that could slip through the cracks. That'd be a few things here and there. That'd be fraud on the scale of a tiny microscale of a couple of things, not the millions or tens of thousands of votes that Trump would need to win. And I'm not saying I accept any of that. I don't think any of it's good, anything like that. But it wouldn't be the fraudulent thing, this big, giant conspiracy theory of fraud that Trump and his people are trying to present. So, anyway, I did do some looking. I've done some Google searches. I looked. Now, I'll say I spent a couple minutes. I would never try, like a couple minutes searching. I spent a couple minutes searching through Google looking for any kind of fraud. Yesterday, nothing. Actually, what I found were various of these court cases that Trump is trying to take into various locations being thrown out by the judges. That's what I found. That's what I want to find, but that's what I found. So anyway, the whole point of this thing is to say, find the evidence, do it for everything, especially something like this. Look for the evidence. Don't believe it. Why do you believe it? If you believe it. And I'm replying to these people on the local CBS page, asking them that, saying, hey, Why do you believe something without any evidence or without good evidence? Where is your evidence? And if you have it, and if it's enough to convince you, please share it with me. Please share it with me. None of them, every single one of them. One of them said she never called me any names. And I was like, you never called me any names? Well, that's good. That's good. Because I didn't call you any names, you fucking Trump cultist moron. But I didn't say that. I meant it. I didn't even imply it. Normally I might imply that, but I didn't even imply that. So, and I say this, my caveat is, I'm not saying this about all Trump supporters. I'm saying this about some blind Trump cultist, not any politician cultist. If you were an Obama cultist, I didn't see that behavior in exactly the same way as right now. If Trump cultists are loud and proud, I don't mean Republicans, I don't mean conservatives, I don't mean normal people who might have voted for him. I don't mean them when I say Trump cultists. I mean the people who, regardless of any kind of evidence or anything about the truth, believe every conspiracy theory Trump says and presents. So they just believe it, he can't do anything wrong. Okay, fuck those people, they're cultists, I don't want anything to do with them. This lady appears to be one. I didn't call her any names, but her thing was, I didn't call you names. Oh, you didn't call me any names. No, you didn't. Thank you very much. And I didn't even share her memes, you know, my nasty memes. But anyway, evidence. Evidence, evidence, evidence. Go look for it. Look for it. Plus, if you're watching this video and you want to link me to some evidence of voter fraud, do it. Maybe in a week or two, I'll be wrong. Maybe this thing will be completely out of date. Maybe evidence will have arisen and we'll see a bunch of evidence about it. Plus, one guy, I have to throw in, one guy's response was, did I believe all the stuff against Donald Trump with the impeachment and the Russia tampering? So I didn't even deal with that because that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. You can't kind of do this whataboutism bullshit and say, oh yeah, what about, no. Give me evidence. We're specifically talking about this election. Was there fraud? Give me evidence, bozo, if you want to convince me. But every one of them just told me to go look up stuff or go to One America News Network. It's Breitbart, One America News Network. Ugh. Biased. Super biased, not credible. Awful sources. Anyway, if you've gone through this, thanks for taking the time to listen to me rant a little bit about it. I am still right now, I'm working on my self-awareness and skepticism videos. A lot of these same concepts will be in that skepticism video. Once it's out, I'll backtrack and throw a link from this video to that one. And we'll talk about in detail about how to root out your confirmation bias, how to be skeptical, how to approach everything from a skeptical lens and to be critical about it, and then to be a better person. Anyway, got any comments? Throw them in there. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff. I'm gonna go comb my damn hair, take a shower here. Then I'm gonna seize the day and get some stuff done today. So hopefully you can get out there and do the same.